It's sad that Aya didn't get more screen time and attention. There's a huge amount of fan feedback that were like, she's incredible. Why isn't she in the game more? And not only that, but actually her story is really important because she's Amunet.
There's one video that I also love that you did, was the spit takes video.
Oh, that was hilarious. They put me in the booth with this guy and they're like, okay, cool. And now spit on him. I was like, what do you mean spit on him? Yeah, spit on him. And I was like, okay, first of all, people pay extra for that normally. I am genuinely devastated that not more people have played that game and experienced that character.
Hey, what is up, everybody? Welcome to Behind the Voice podcast. I'm joined by Alix Wilton Regan. Thank you so much for being here. You might know her as Aya from Assassin's Creed, and Alt Cunningham in Cyberpunk, and so many wonderful characters that you got to play. How are you doing?
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
That's great. That's obviously super cool. And recently, yesterday, I think, at the time of this recording, is where you were in Assassin's Creed Symphony adventure. I think so, wasn't you?
I was. Yes, I was. I heard that this was happening in London, and I sent them an email, and I basically bullied them into letting me and Boo go on stage to be I am Bayek again, and it worked. Great,
yes.
It worked.
How was your experience like on that being on that place?
Yeah, it was lovely. It was really great. I mean, the South Bank is like a huge theatre in London. There are 3,000 people there in the auditorium, which was wonderful. A little bit intimidating, but it was really cool. I was super glad we did it.
Oh, that's fantastic. It's interesting because with Aya, your character in Origins, it has resonated with a lot of people, and her story and everything, and people love your character. And even now you do sign-ins and people are there for that. So what has it been like for you playing that character? I know recently Abu Bakr Salim was like, let's do a sequel, and you were on it. So what do you think about all of that?
That's all a very big question, a very good question. So Abu and I definitely feel like there's unfinished business between Bayek and Aya. And, I guess between myself and Assassin's Creed and himself and Assassin's Creed, as a franchise.
Yeah.
It's sad that Aya didn't get more screen time and attention when Assassin's Creed Origins came out. And that's not just me saying that as an actress. There's a huge amount of fan feedback that were like, she's incredible. Why isn't she in the game more? And not only that, but actually her story is really important because she's Amunet. So she's really important to the franchise. So why wouldn't you focus in on that more, capitalize on that more if you were the producers of the game? And not only that, but of course, I think their story, the story of Bayek and Aya, is hugely moving, and it resonated with a lot of people. And a lot of people have said, and I don't know if this is true because I haven't played every single one of the Assassin's Creed games, but a lot of people have said that emotionally it was the story with the most depth in the franchise. But for people who played all the games, so for people who played all the games, they say that it's the story with the most emotional resonance and the most depth, just in general, which is a wonderful thing to hear. And, it was a huge amount of fun to play. It was a real honor making it with everyone at Ubisoft. It was a wonderfully creative team. It was the beginning of mine and Abu's friendship. We love each other dearly. We consider each other family. So I think Abu and I are ready, willing, and waiting to get a call from Ubisoft and asking us to jump into the ring and reprise the roles. And also from a business point of view, be kind of genius if Ubisoft did do something like that. Well, because they've never done a sequel, right?
That's true.
So at some point, it becomes a very sexy and attractive idea to break the mold.
Oh, so, yes. I agree that it would be a great idea to just break the mold and start a first time a sequel, because as I said, like a lot of people are interested in it. And I mean it kind of began with her story and like how Assassin's Creed kind of journey began from her later on in the period in terms of the lore and everything. And yes, there were apparent reports of Aya having a larger role and all that. So I hope something else can happen, and because it was really cool, because in the next game, the game after that came out, Odyssey, there was a and it was really cool to see. Oh wow, there's she is a descendant of Aya, so that was really cool to see that.
Well, I think something that someone said to me, again last night, because obviously there were a lot of fans there and they wanted pictures with myself and Abu. Another thing that someone said to me is like, where was she for 80% of the game? And I'm like, that's not my decision. That is very much not my decision. But it's a really good question because she is so important. And you're asking the fan base to invest in this woman whose son has died. And she's got this epic love story with the hero of the game, Bayek. And this is taking nothing away from the beauty of Abu's work, because he was sensational and I love him as Bayek. But it's just a very good question, which is, what is the rest of this woman's story?
Yeah, that's true. I know a lot of people had that. Like, why is she so less in the game? She should be more. That was a question that kept on going for a long time. Yeah, so
she should have
been. And I hope we can get to see more of that. I'm super excited. Ubisoft should do something about it, and people are very vocal on that. So hopefully they catch on and do something.
Inshallah, God willing. Yes,
absolutely.
We are ready, willing, and waiting, and able. There you go. We'll leave it there on that one.
That's fantastic. Recently, last month, I think in April, you had the announcement of like, okay, you are in Elder Scrolls Online and you're playing Ithelia.
That actually comes out on Sunday night, I believe. Is it the 2nd of June? June. Got that one right. And I only know because the publicity team wrote to me today saying that I was allowed to post about it from the 3rd of June onwards. I was like, okay, so it comes out the day before. Yes, that comes out the 2nd of June. I'm really excited about that. She has a fantastic arc in the game. And I'm not just saying that because I got to play her. She does have a really interesting arc. I remember when the audition material came through, I saw her graphics and I was like, oh my God, she's beautiful. And then obviously, of course, I already knew about Elder Scrolls. Everyone knows about Elder Scrolls. And then everyone knows how popular Elder Scrolls Online is. And I didn't realize at the time that this was for the 10th anniversary of Elder Scrolls Online, which was a hugely attractive prospect to like be a part of that. And just her arc was fantastic, and it was all in the audition paperwork. And I was like, oh, that's going to be really interesting to play. So I was really excited when I got it. Really, really excited. And it was a wonderful experience, actually.
Wow, that is fantastic. Is there something that you can talk about for the character? I know this episode is going to come out later, so I guess you can.
I know that she is the first Daedric prince that the franchise have ever introduced from new, I believe. 89% sure I'm right about that. She's the first Daedric prince they've introduced. She is a time weaver. She's like the mistress of time and consequences and weaving time forwards and weaving it backwards and doing lots of weaving with my hands there. So you can take that to mean whatever you want. Take that to mean what it will. But it's a really emotional journey. So I really hope people respond to it.
Oh yeah, definitely. Elder Scrolls Online is like a huge game, as you mentioned. A lot of people play that game. One of my friends played a lot of people have like habits of before going to bed they're gonna read a book. My friend is like, before heading to bed, I'm gonna play Elder Scrolls Online. So she has that. So definitely, I'm pretty much sure it would be exciting for her.
Well, what was lovely was when they invited me out to the convention in Amsterdam. What was so nice is I got to meet all these incredible people from the fan base, and I was talking to these people and they were like, yeah, so we met online. I was like, hang on, you met online? They go, yeah, we've been friends for 10 years. I was like, you've been friends for 10 years? Yes, but we've only just met at this convention. And I kind of thought it was like a mini miracle of technology, because I've never really met anyone online. I mean, a few work colleagues, I guess, but I've never really been in the situation where I've met someone online and it's developed into like a passionate friendship or a love affair. And I kind of just thought, surely that is the best of technology right there. Surely the best of technology is about bringing people together.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, a lot of people, myself included, where we get to meet some people online, not obviously kind of face to face, but obviously we meet online, we build our friendship, and over time, eventually we're like, we want to meet now. So if or when that happens, it's just a fantastic moment.
Yeah. And there were these people that come from all these different cities across mainly Europe, but there were some Canadians there as well. And they've traveled like halfway around the world to go and meet these people. I just thought it was wonderful.
Yeah, it is amazing. That's actually a dream of mine one day, to go to conventions like these and be like able to meet
Yeah.
everyone. It should
Yeah,
be fantastic. Hopefully that happens.
it will happen. Think positive, it will happen.
Yeah, I'm trying to think positive on that side. Let's see where that goes. But it's so amazing. You have worked in so many games, and I was just looking through on the games. You have worked on around 50 games at this point.
Yeah, maybe 60 even, because I'm
Oof.
really old.
What has this journey been for you? I think you started your first game, I think somewhere around 2001. And so from there till now, like, how's it that been?
No. 2001, I was a child. 2001, I was about 12.
Okay. Well, I guess I got
good
all
guess.
wrong.
No, I think that definitely not 2001. I was still at school then. So what's it been like? I mean, I just feel really grateful. If there was one word to summarize it all, it would just be gratitude. I've been gifted so many big, beautiful roles that have resonated so much with the public. You know, the obvious ones kind of spring to mind. So there's the Inquisitor in Dragon Age Inquisition. My first actual job was in Dragon Age Origins, which was amazing. That was the first time I got cast. But that was the first time I got cast. And then, you know, I was just so lucky. I just kind of took off. So you've got the Inquisitor in Dragon Age Inquisition. You've got Samantha Traynor in Mass Effect 3. You've got Carillion in Warhammer Vermintide.
Yeah.
You've got Sabine in Divinity Original Sin 1 and 2. You've got I can't remember all of them. You know, you mentioned Alt from Cyberpunk, and you mentioned Ithelia from Elder Scrolls, and you mentioned Aya, obviously from Assassin's Creed Origins.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying these names to brag. I'm just saying because I feel slightly in awe. I'm like, wow, I'm really lucky, because I am really lucky, because there's a lot of actresses out there, and you know, casting could go in a lot of different ways, and people can make different choices, and I just feel lucky. Yeah. Especially if people put up with me when I'm grumpy and then they call me back, you know. I just feel very lucky.
That's great. No, it's amazing that you have worked in so many amazing games and wonderful characters, and people all remember all these characters that you've been a part of, all these games that you just mentioned. People really, even now, even though Divinity Original Sin, like even Dragon Age Origins came out so long ago, people still remember these characters. So, you know, you're doing such a fantastic job in every single game, and it's incredible. Like every single year, I feel like you have multiple games that you're part of. So it's insane to see that. Yeah.
That's really sweet. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, you know, I never tire of hearing it. There was a woman last night. There were quite a few moving fan experiences last night from the Assassin's Creed Symphonic Orchestra, where we met the fans afterwards, myself and Abu. You know, one woman arrived and she just burst into tears and couldn't talk, and because she was completely overwhelmed, bless her. So I was like, take your time, it's okay. And then she calmed down and she spoke to us, and you know, had a photograph. And then there was another woman. She was Japanese. She said she was from Japan, but I don't know if she specifically came for the orchestra. And she was talking to us, and she said, you know, this game helped me through the most difficult time of my life. She didn't say what had happened, but it was clearly something very tragic and emotional for her. And when people tell you that you've changed their lives, like, what do you say to that? How do you know? I'm just a little person doing video games, you know, and sometimes, or increasingly, it's my face, my voice, and my body. So increasingly, it's performance capture. I was all performance captured. The two games I'm shooting at the moment in Los Angeles, did I just release balloons? That's incredible. Is this like if you do a heart, it does the heart?
I don't know. Something happened.
I get the thumb. What happened? What did I do?
I have no idea where that balloon came from.
That was amazing. This is going to be a great section. Everyone's going to be like, what are you doing? And I'm just standing there doing random hearts like that. Yep. I can't remember. Anyway.
Something happened.
Anyway. Wait, if a bloke goes, no, it's not doing it for me. Whatever. Anyway, luckily. But yeah, so, you know, she wasn't actually the first role I performance captured. I think the first time I performance captured was maybe Crossfire, I want to say. There's a big game in China called Crossfire.
Yeah.
another game that I did called Medal of Honor, Above
Oh,
and Beyond.
yeah.
That was all performance captured. I was performance captured. The 2 games I'm shooting in LA at the moment, they're all performance captured, both performance captured. Anyway, sorry, what was the point of this? The point was that sometimes it's performance capture, and so it's very, very involving because it's your face, your voice, and your body. But sometimes it's just your voice, it's just voiceover. And I just feel like, I'm just little old me doing characters in a voiceover booth. And then people come up and they tell you that you changed their life, and they cry and they can't speak. Like that's the reaction I might have to meeting Helen Mirren, or Ben Kingsley, or like some titans of acting, Meryl Streep, And to me, I'm just little old me, and then people tell you this. Anyway, it's really sweet. It's lovely. It's a really lovely, I think fan interactions are probably some of my favorite parts of the job, definitely.
Yeah, it's amazing to see how people have so much affection with these characters and they are so close to it, whether it's a game or the characters or both, and they are ready to fly by, come to these conventions and meet you, and share some of the things that they probably will not be able to share to somebody else, maybe. So it's really fascinating to see, and I think it's like in video games, this happens quite often, I guess, because so big games and such a big story, and you see the whole journey in such an interesting way as compared to movies and series, maybe. So it's
so immersive, right? That's the whole point. It's completely immersive.
Very much so. So you worked in games all the time, like Dragon Age Origins, and now you just mentioned more of motion capture. What has it been for you working on games at that point when you started versus now?
I mean, certainly when I started, I didn't have a bloody clue what I was doing. Like, at all. I had like Super Mario Kart as a kid. I had Tetris on my Game Boy, but I didn't really understand video games as a market, as a business model. I'm much more interested in it now. I'm much more involved in it now. I got to executive produce Abu's video game, actually, Tales of Kinzera.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Which is Zal's the first game. And it's just come out. It was released last month from his studio, Surgeon Studios. So, I was really honored that he asked me to be an executive producer on that. And I, of course, said yes. So I guess I didn't understand the market so much, and I didn't understand the value. I didn't understand the emotional impact that games could have, because much as I was really determined at Tetris or like playing Snake on my phone, didn't quite have the emotional resonance, I would say, of Dragon Age Inquisition. Let's put it that way, and I guess now I really want to know more about the people behind the scenes. That's the biggest change. Like, who are the writers? Who are the directors? Who are the animators? What are the visuals? What's the art looking like? The music, music is huge in a video game. And it's so damn beautiful, and rightly so. There's so much time and so much money spent on it. Fantastic. I love that. So I really want to know more about the project as a whole and not just my little section. When you're in the moment of recording, I point over there because my voice booth's over there, by the way. That's why when I'm like recording. So, when you're in the moment of recording, or when you're in the moment of shooting or performance capturing, as you would call it, you have to be completely in the moment as an actor. You can't be thinking about anything else other than the character in that moment. But around it, I'm really interested in the process and a lot more stuff like that. Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, the process has also changed over time, I believe so. Now, a lot of people, especially now, are more interested in who's the actor behind this character, more so than they were probably before. And now they are more researching, willing to watch more things, willing to understand who they are, and kind of research on their own side. So, and also more interest on becoming a voice actor themselves in video games, or trying to get there in that moment. It's incredible.
Yeah, I mean, I actually think that people were always interested in the actors behind the character. This is my theory. I think they were. I think it was actually video game companies who kind of weren't. I think it was the video game companies who didn't understand the star power of the actors that create the characters. So you obviously have like, you have the star system in movies, for example. You know, Angelina Jolie is a movie star, Tom Hanks is a movie star, Tom Cruise is a movie star, and they understand that value. And I think what's happening now is video game companies are finally understanding and respecting more the value of the actors that they use. Because remember that there's no such thing as a voice actor,
Yeah, true.
just actors. There isn't actually, you know, I've thought about this just recently, but I'm like, there's no such thing as a voice actor. Like, I went to drama school, like everyone else in the UK, or like a lot of people in the UK go to drama school if you want to be an actor. You know, I am a trained and qualified actor. I can do stage combats and very small amount of stunts. And, you know, I love being on stage. And I love shooting on set with people, and I love how dynamic it is. It just so happens that I've ended up in video games. You know, and some actors end up in radio plays, and some actors do medical role play, and some actors do only TV shows, and some actors are only ever on the stage and they never do a TV show. And a tiny, tiny, tiny percent, which I think is 0.01% of the profession, becomes a star in either of those, in any of those mediums. But, you know, so I think we're all just actors. We're all just actors. Yeah.
Yeah. I like that, because that's a concept that a lot of people had, where everybody refers to actors as, oh, a voice actor has played this character, and I always refer to like an actor has played the character. Because
I've never, look, I could be really wrong about this. I could be really wrong, and I'm sure someone will be watching this going, oh no, she's wrong about that. But I can't think of a voice actor, a successful regularly working voice actor that's doing regular performance capture or regular voiceover for big video games. I can't think of one that is not an actor. They are all actors. You know, everyone who wins a BAFTA Game Award for Best Performer in a Leading Role is an actor. Like, they've done, that's what they've done. You know, they are actors. But yeah, you know.
Yeah, no, you're right. They are actors, and I at least see that now more so, because even I at some point was like, okay, there's voice acting and but now I know, like, okay, it's all acting. Like, they all learn everything that every single actor learn, and they go from there. So they're essentially an actor. So, but yeah,
completely an actor. I think I would maybe agree with the idea that there are like voiceovers. So someone who goes, the DFS Easter sale is now on. You know, I can acknowledge that there is a space for people who are like, you know, welcome to McDonald's. At McDonald's this weekend, you can get 2 for 1 on a Big Mac. You know, I recognize that that is also a skill set and a talent for maybe voiceover and advertising and stuff like that. But I think for acting, you're still acting. It's just acting.
True. Yeah, absolutely. And it's fascinating that people are now more, at least I appreciate that more people are now kind of interested to know what's going on behind the scenes, more so than they were before, I guess. And I'm really happy that there's more behind the scenes kind of videos out there as well. So it's really, really fun. What do you think has been, according to you, the unique factor to working in games versus kind of working in movies or shows?
It's a lot faster doing video games. So video games are much bigger than movies. So a movie listen, how long is a piece of string? But a movie will take between, depending on your role, you know, 3 days to 3 months, maybe, with the average blockbuster movie maybe taking 6 months. I don't know, very vaguely speaking. Video games you're working on for like 2 years. So video games, there's a lot more material to cover, which as an actor I love, because it means that you get to do lots of different things with your character, and that's really exciting. You get to explore it. Video games quite often shoot faster. So because you don't have to have these huge sets, right? So if you're doing a scene on a film where the house is burning down and you're doing it for real, you've got to have a set, and you've got to have a fire crew, and you've got to have stunt people to run out of the building, and then you need costume to put you in your burnt clothes, and you need a safety department, and you need a director and a producer and a lighting and a fire management person and all that, right? It takes a long time. And then you need to do more than one take, most likely. You know, in a video game, you could do the whole sequence about the burning house in a day, because you're not really setting anything on fire. So it's all the actor's imagination reacting, and you move the cameras and you get your close up and you shoot different bits. But I guess it's just much quicker. And in some ways that it can make video game acting very, very alive, because you have to use your imagination so much, and it's very, very vital. I always call performance capture filmed theatre. That's how I think of it. So I think of it as theatre. I think of it as doing a play, but with lots of cameras on you. So understanding how film acting works as well is useful to learn to hit your mark, to learn to understand where the cameras are, to learn, for example, where a piece of set or prop will be put in post-production, that kind of thing. So I think having a knowledge of film and television acting, so screen acting, and also feeling really confident on the stage, those two things are both vital to, I guess, just feeling confident in the volume. The volume is what you call that, for anyone who doesn't know, the volume is the name of the space that you shoot in, basically. So yeah.
If you really enjoyed this episode, make sure to hit that like button. It really helps the YouTube algorithm out, and it helps, get more people know about it. And if you haven't already, subscribe to this channel to watch more episodes where I talk to actors from video games. And now let's just jump back to the episode. As you mentioned, all of the things that you mentioned about the set and the props and the lighting, and all these different departments have to work for one scene. If it's really challenging, it requires more time. So, but in video games, that it's not necessarily true as much as compared to like a movie, because there's no such set per se, or there's no such props that you have to wear, no lighting kind of per se exactly.
But, on the flip side, what's wonderful about screen acting, so whilst video games are bigger and they shoot faster, movies are smaller, but they shoot slower. And what I like about that is you end up quite often spending a lot more time with other creatives on set. So you spend more time with your actors, and you do have a bit more agency and license. Like, okay, this character's going to cry in this scene, and I'm going to decide when she's going to cry and how her voice is going to break or whatever, because it's all visual filmed. Whereas obviously if you're shooting a video game, they can put a tear in post-production, or they can change and edit stuff and things like that. So I was just filming something in Belgium this week, actually, for a new TV show. And I was doing some more days on it at the beginning of May as well, on this TV show that's shooting in Belgium. And I did just think, oh, I love being around all these people. I love it, and they do your hair and they do your makeup. And, I love all that stuff. I love it.
Yeah, that sounds pretty cool. Yeah, I can totally understand the same for the appeal of acting in movies and stuff, because of those production elements and because of those extra time. So it's pretty cool, and I'm just happy with this fact that there's more games even now. Like, games are kind of also converted into series and possibly movies as well, which is also pretty exciting. Yeah, it's pretty exciting, and all these games are coming. Do you have like a game in mind that you've worked on, maybe, that you would like to turn into a series?
I think Dragon Age would be bloody incredible to turn into a series. I know that I think they're making a Mass Effect series, but then I just read that there's a show that's come out with Jennifer Lopez. Is it called Atlas?
Yes, yeah.
Is it called Atlas? And her character's called something Shepherd.
Yeah.
And they're saying it's a reference to Mass Effect. Is that true? I don't know. Maybe you can speak more on it.
I actually don't know if has some links to Mass Effect of any kind, but yeah, there were like people were mentioning about Shepherd being a thing, and people were kind of making kind of connection, but I'm not exactly sure. Yeah.
So I don't know either, but I mean, Dragon Age would be amazing, because what a list of characters. That would be very cool. They're making Warhammer.
Mm-hmm.
So I want a role in Warhammer. I want a role in the TV show of Warhammer. Thank you. That's out there to the universe. So that would be really cool. I would be so up for playing any of my characters in the TV show versions, or, you know, like side characters like they did with the Last of Us TV show, where they brought in Troy and they brought in Ashley and that kind of stuff. That was really cool. Yeah, I think Dragon Age would just be, because Dragon Age is just so rich. It's such a rich, rich, rich world. It's the world that keeps on giving. I mean, that would be fabulous. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, you're right. Dragon Age would be fantastic. I know there's a lot of appeal to Dragon Age, and I think there's a fourth Dragon Age coming along. But like, there's so much appeal to that. It would be so much fun to see that turn into a series, because you know, any game nowadays, at least 2 games that turn into a series were really good. So I'm very much hopeful that any future games might be better, and they will be able to convert that well and share that story in the same way or similar way as how the game has done it.
Which was the series that you really liked that they turned from a video game into a TV show? Which was the one you really liked?
I did like The Last of Us, because I'm a big fan of I'm a big fan of Last of Us, and I remember that game. Like, I remember the scenes, so I'm like that big of a fan. So that's why, like, the game, the series was very much like the game, scene by scene at times. So I really like what they did. I know Fallout for a lot of people was great. I unfortunately didn't play much of Fallout, so I couldn't get the Easter eggs or the connections per se, but I still like the show in general. So I still feel like Last of Us and Fallout, these are the 2 shows who are doing very well. But Last of Us is definitely the one that it picks for me. So cool. But yes, you did play the Inquisitor in the Dragon Age Inquisition. How, like, I remember you mentioned in one of the interviews that she is one of the most badass characters that you got to play. What is it like for you to, you know, play that role? And I know, like, a lot of people, whenever your name comes up, people bring in Inquisition and the character.
I mean, people just love her, which is wonderful. You know, I'm not going to that's a beautiful thing to feel. I feel like it's a really inclusive game. I feel like it's a really open game, that it fully invites people in. It was nothing but a positive experience for me, you know, nothing but a positive experience. And I just feel so grateful to have been a part of history in that regard.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a very cool game, and I love it. And there's one video that I also love that you did, was the spit takes video.
Oh, that was hilarious. That was hilarious, because so the team came over from Canada to shoot that.
Okay.
Cool. They go, will you come into the studio to do a promotional material for us? And I was like, yes. And I get to the studio, and then they're like, can we do some spit takes? And I'm like, yes, not really knowing what they mean. And I think what they actually mean by spit takes, the joke is that it's when you go like that, when you fluff your line.
Yeah.
And they put me in the booth with this guy, and they're like, okay, cool. And now spit on him. I was like, what do you mean spit on him? They're like, yes, spit on him. And I was like, okay, first of all, people pay extra for that normally, for me to spit on them. Okay. It's a joke. First of all, people pay extra. No, but they're like, just spit on him. So then I end up spitting all over this poor man. It was a very surreal moment, but I am so glad that we did it, because it was really bloody funny. Yeah, it was really bloody funny. So I'm really glad we did.
It was so good. I loved in the comments, everybody's like, feel bad for that guy. It was getting the spits. I'm like, well, yeah. It was really funny.
Hey, asked. I just did as I was asked. It has nothing to do with me.
Yeah, definitely. That's true. It's just a very interesting way to promote the game. It was like, I loved it. It was so cool. Never expected that. And one of the other characters that I really like as well is Samantha Traynor, Mass Effect.
Love Samantha.
So good. Samantha. 12 years ago that game came out around.
My lord,
it's
really
insane. It's insane.
That is insane.
What is it like looking back? I know it's like you feel like it's forever ago, but looking back at that time, you remember any of the things, like what was going in your head? What was it all at that time?
Yeah, I really do remember. I remember that I originally auditioned for the voice of Edie.
Ooh.
I did. I was originally considered for the voice of Edie. I auditioned for her. I was sad I didn't get it, but then I went in and I read for this character, and I remember saying, I feel like she's really London, like she's really a Londoner. She is a Londoner. And they were like, yes, that's what we want. We want that London, no bullshit energy. And I just kind of went into the audition with that, and I did it and I got it, and I was so excited. And, you know, the rest, as they kind of say, is history, you know, and now I'm very good friends with Ali Hillis, Courtney Taylor, Jennifer Hale, and I feel very grateful, actually,
Yeah.
you know. So yeah, it was just wonderful, you know. And I remember recording the white picket fence scene where I talk about wanting that, and I still remember that I cried, and I didn't really know that video games could make you cry, that they could have that kind of impact.
Yeah, it's insane. It's really insane, especially with Mass Effect, because people have so much connection, and with these characters, again, it's like it's mind blowing. Especially with Mass Effect, even like people have all sorts of connection, even with the emotional connection as well. They get emotional on a lot of different scenes, and even with Mass Effect, it's incredible. And the one scene that I really enjoyed with Samantha Traynor was this a scene of tournament, where she went into this tournament. She was supposed to go on a date, but she didn't go on a date, and she went to this tournament. It was this the moment of like the camera zooms in onto her eyes and like, you know, beat her ass and like, you know, beat her in this tournament. I just love that moment. It was out of nowhere. I was like, oh, okay, that is great. That's one of my favorite moments for sure. It was really cool.
Oh, I love that.
If I know, like in games you don't have like props and stuff like that per se, but in movies you would have. So if, for example, Mass Effect,
you get props in performance capture.
Yeah, you do get props. Yeah. It kind of made like I mean, yeah, sure. I feel like in movies you have like a proper prop in the sense of like how it should look.
Oh yeah, of
and
course.
Everything.
Yeah.
So you get a feel of it, and in games you have like a proper sort of prop, like, and you hold it and act with it, I guess.
Yes.
So if in some ways Mass Effect 3, let's say, was a movie and had a full on props and everything, would there be an item that you would take home?
Well, the toothbrush, of course.
Of course. I was like, it has to be toothbrush. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe a cool chessboard. Like if they'd given her a really cool handmade, handcrafted chessboard as well, that could be kind of fun. But yeah, 100% the toothbrush. Has to be the toothbrush.
Has to be the toothbrush, yeah. So cool. People still ask about that toothbrush. Like, what toothbrush should I get? I must ask Traynor.
Mark IV. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
6,000 credits.
It's so cool. One of the games that I also really enjoyed, because in all these games they have like I think a lot of these characters are like heroic kind of characters in some ways, but this game that you worked on, Amnesia Rebirth, where Tasi is...
I loved Amnesia. Did you play that?
I did, yeah. The character just blew me away, to be honest. Like I was like, oh my god.
I'm so happy to hear you mention her. Abhi, I'm going to level with you right now. This is a world exclusive just for you, okay?
Okay.
And no, this is a world exclusive for you and your podcast. I am genuinely devastated that not more people have played that game and experienced that character. That, as an actor and as just a human being, that character had the easily top 3 the most profound effects on me and of my life. Like, wow. I guess Aya I would put up there because I met Abu, and that's been a really important friendship in my life. And then, okay, I can't really choose between Inquisition and Mass Effect because they're the same people and I love them both and they're both my babies. With Mass Effect, I met the girls. I met Jen, Courtney, and Ali. And then with the Inquisitor, that kind of launched my career and it changed everything. And I was super grateful for it. And actually, okay, I love all of them, but nobody ever asks me about Amnesia Rebirth. So I'm genuinely, thank you for bringing that up because I love Tasi. I have a picture.
Oh, cool.
Hang on. I have a picture of her right here on my desk.
Oh, wow, it's so cool. That's lovely.
Love her. I absolutely love her.
Wow.
I'll put later. I love her. So tell me what you thought of the game.
Oh, the game. The game was insane, and the character, again, I feel like the character was, for me, there's something with the character. I just was able to connect so quickly. It was just, I think it's just me who loves the the dramatic, I guess, concept or style of games where there's a lot going on. It's not like, okay, we have to go here and shoot these guys. It's not that. It's like there's more in the story. There's more complexity with the character and her story. So I really, that's where I was able to connect. And I just love everything that was going on from out of story. Like her story was changing from out of nowhere. She getting like pregnant from out of nowhere, and then that's going on crazy. So it's just like, but it was a very interesting game for me, and I really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed your portrayal, because you gave. It felt like you gave everything to that character.
I did, babe. I did. I was a little bit sad that I didn't get more. I was a little bit sad I didn't get more recognition, I guess, from like the gaming press for that character in a way, because I really felt like I left everything on the floor, is what is the expression, you know, like I left everything on the stage, whatever the expression is. I left everything there. I gave it everything. And it was just it was such a powerful story. She's pregnant. Her husband, or is she pregnant when the game starts?
Yeah.
You know, her husband gets killed. She's plane crashed in the middle of the desert. All this weird stuff starts happening, you know, and she's confronting parts of her own psyche. And I just gave that game my everything. I remember screaming for hours in the booth during the labor scenes, the childbirth scenes, and having to make it really horrific, because what's she giving birth to, we don't know, you know. And then the different endings and how it really messed with me emotionally. I was so, and interestingly, I was actually recording Cyberpunk and Ghost Recon at the same time, so as I was recording Amnesia Rebirth. So I was a little bit of a mess. But I was just so in love with Tasi. I was so in love with Tasi. And I just feel sad that she, as a character, I guess, just didn't get more attention, you know? Because I think as a female player character, she's super interesting. I can't remember the last time I've seen birth depicted on screen in a video game, you know? So, yeah.
No, I mean, I understand. I don't know, like it's interesting for gamers or people who play, like, I don't know what draws them, but I know like not a lot of people got to play Amnesia Rebirth, which is unfortunate. Like, I know a lot of people kind of complain and whatnot and they have their opinions, but I feel like if people would have given the game a chance in terms of like just experiencing what the story really is, I think they'll really enjoy it, because it has everything that a video game has, you know?
I mean, the reviews were quite good from what I saw, but was there an issue? Did some of the fans have issues with it?
I think it's all mostly based on the fact that Amnesia, the game franchise in general, and they did not probably connect with Amnesia Rebirth as compared to like the previous Amnesia game. I think so. Is that what I read? Some people say that like it was not in that, in comparison to the other game, was not that great or something like that. So I think that's where they're not able to connect with, and that's why. But yeah, I did see reviews were really good, and I was like, I'm happy that the reviews were, because I went in with the reviews, I saw the reviews, and then I got the game and I played it.
Yeah, the reviews were good.
Yeah, so I was like, because I was really interested in it. I thought like it's a very unique take when the trailers and all that came out. I was like,
super unique. Yeah, you know,
very unique from the previous games. Yeah. What?
Then.
Yeah. But with all these characters, I know you have different techniques of how to be that character, how to become it, or to like be that and play that character. For this, for Tasi, was there a different technique, a different way that you went through to connect with her, or is that more of the usual thing?
It's kind of, so, you know, I guess every character is circumstantial as well. So what are the circumstances around them? So Tasi is French. I speak fluent French because I was educated at the lycée. So, you know, I already know how to do a French accent. And then it's about what level of French accent do they want. So most people, they do not want a strong accent like this, because it is, you know, not a real accent. And it is also quite hard to understand sometimes. So, you know, okay, so it's like, so you soften the accent to, you know, as much as you are a part of me, you don't belong to me. You belong to the wind, the moon, and the stars. You know, so it's kind of like, it's an anglicized French accent. That was part one. Part two is the, you know, the context of the story and the circumstances. It is a period piece. So it's about keeping your back very straight, really being in alignment, being quite contained, keeping your energy quite contained, but putting it all into the microphone through your voice, as opposed to who has more physical action. So Alt, this is what I do with Alt. I do lots of Tai Chi because Alt is an AI being at this point, Johnny, so it's all very smooth. So I do a lot of that with Alt. Obviously, with Carillion, there's a lot of, from Warhammer, there's a lot of screaming like, hurrah, hurrah, liberation is mine, and screaming, and then like sarcasm and stuff like that. So it really depends on the circumstances. Yeah, really depends on the circumstances.
Yeah, I love that you gave small demos of how all these characters are. I was like, this is great. I love it. I'm like, how do you guys do it? But I'm like, I don't know, but it's great.
That's how you do it.
Yeah, that's
move around a lot. Like, look, like me now. I'm like all the way back in my chair's tipping back. Like, go back to the center of the screen.
No, that's amazing. And I'm really glad that a lot of whoever played this, because I know there are people who played Amnesia Rebirth, for instance, and they really liked it, really enjoyed it. And once they finished a full game, and then they're like, okay, no, I gave this game a chance, and it was actually really good. So there are people out there who really enjoy this character and the game and everything.
Go play Amnesia Rebirth if you want to. It's great. We love it. We think it's great.
We think it's great. Yeah. But you mentioned about kind of looking at that people didn't like as much of Amnesia, and you wish you could. But are you one of those people, like when the game comes out, you read reviews and for people that are talking about, you take a look? Yeah,
it's bad. Yeah, I do.
I mean, I don't know if it's bad or something, but like it's kind of a good thing. But obviously, it comes with the negativity.
I think, yeah, I was gonna say, I think one would protect their mental health more if they did not go and read all the reviews, right?
Yeah.
And of course, it's not just reviews, because reviews are things that are in newspapers or online news articles and editions. But it's also now it's like all of the gamer forums and the Reddit opinions and the YouTube comments and everything, and that is just a reality of the world that we live in now. Everyone has an opinion, everyone can share an opinion. It doesn't take anything to share an opinion. It doesn't take anything for people to be cruel because it's all anonymized, and also at the same time, it doesn't cost anything to be kind. So I would always urge people on the side of kindness. As the saying goes, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all.
Yeah.
It's true. It's from Bambi, that quote. I remember seeing that in the Disney film Bambi. It's like, my mama says, and I think I can't remember who says it. Maybe it's Thumper. Someone's going to correct me on here and be like, she's wrong. It's either Thumper or my mama said, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. And it's like, yeah, that's true. You're allowed to just go, I'm not going to say that. I type that.
Yeah, that's true. And it is unfortunate now, especially because people have all these opinions, and I feel like there's people always bring in with the negativity first, and like, oh, that person said some negative. We're gonna expand on that, and we're gonna spread that around, and so that happens quite often. And I'm like, good going, guys. Good going on spreading positivity. That's great. But yeah, I can totally understand. That's why I feel like I sometimes don't read comments, because sometimes people have a lot of different things to say.
Yeah, and also sometimes you really, if you're creating stuff, I'm busy making the games, and sometimes you really actually genuinely don't have time to read comments or respond. You read something and you think, I'll come back to it, and then you forget to respond. I love fan engagement because I feel very lucky. I have a lot of people who are generally quite nice to me online and have seek me out to say nice things. But, I've also had, really misogynistic stuff thrown at me, or really sexist stuff, or just really mean stuff. But I just think they must be quite a sad person, actually. Truly, they genuinely must be quite a sad person if they're sitting there on a keyboard doing that, So I guess then you just kind of feel pity for the trolls, and feed the trolls. Don't feed the trolls. Don't feed the trolls. I need to remember this myself, because sometimes I do feed the trolls, because I'm like, fuck you and fuck off from my Instagram page. Bye. Sometimes I do feed the trolls, but a lot of the time, do you know what? Also, can I be honest? Like, a lot of the time now, if people post shit, I don't even bother engaging. I just immediately block. Don't even reply. I just automatically block. So yeah.
Yeah, that's, I think, the best way, to be honest, because as you mentioned, like, don't feed. Yeah.
Don't mean the trolls. Block, and if you have the time, report. because it's very satisfying when you report and they reply going, we found that they were in violation of Instagram's rules. We have deactivated their account for a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, that's right. And what you said about like they might be feeling miserable at the same time, like they have like something going on, and that's why they're going in and going, which I truly believe that's what also the case is, because why else would they, kind of
Would you
go
be
crazy,
cool?
know?
Yeah.
So, and
Yeah.
sometimes, very few times, I try to be like, hey, why don't you play something else and actually have fun,
Yeah.
instead of complaining about this.
Well, I also, I was thinking that like sometimes if you have the time and the energy, you can say something like, mate, are you okay? But also it's not our job to ask people to be nice to us. That should be the default setting. So if they can't find it in them to be kind, just block.
Yeah.
It's quick. It's easy. That's what it's there for. Bye. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, I can do that. Yeah.
I still get really hurt. Like I still get really, really hurt by people's comments. Of course, I'm human, but life is so short. Time is so precious. Time is so precious. You learn that the older you go through life,
Yeah.
So the older you go through life and the older you get. So yeah.
Yeah, you're completely right. That's true. I have some fan questions. I don't know how much time you have though.
Yeah, quickly shoot for quick fire. Go for it.
Okay. Well, Squish Influx, it doesn't have a kind of like question, but just want to mention that they named their dog Aya.
Love that. I love that.
Sniper Recon X says, what or who did you base Aya's mannerism and personality on?
I made it up. I just invented it from creativity, but I'm really actually quite flattered that they said, who did I base it on? I was just like, she's a badass, she's strong, she's self-possessed. It's all me. That's just from my creativity. But that is a really nice question. Thank you.
Absolutely. Albedo asks, if you were to get tapped for a sequel starring Aya, which part of her life would you want Ubisoft to focus on?
I'd be really interested. Two sections I think are really interesting and unresolved. I think there is a lot of unresolved stuff between Bayek and Aya. So I'd be really interested in seeing that. But also the end of Cleopatra's storyline.
Yeah, true.
Because we haven't fully had that, have we? So, so I think resolving Aya and Cleopatra, because they're really close, and also resolving Bayek and Aya would be really cool to see.
Yeah, you're right. I would love to see both of those, because both of those are not really there. I wanted more in that, and so hopefully, let's see what happens.
Yeah.
Accomplished Web asks, if you were in the Cyberpunk universe, not as alt, would you still be a netrunner?
Yeah, unless I could be, I don't know, Rogue by Jane Perry is pretty bloody cool. So maybe I'll just be Rogue, just in general. But I have to have Jane Perry's voice. That's the requirement. Okay, I don't want to be Rogue with my voice. I want to be Rogue with Jane Perry's voice specifically.
I love Jane Perry. She's amazing.
I know,
His voice is iconic for me. Zesty Close asks, which aspect of Alt's pre-AI character background would you like to have seen explored more as an actor?
That's a really good question, actually, because I've thought about this. I feel like we didn't get enough of Alt on screen before she became the AI being. I want to know, like, how did she become the best netrunner in Night City?
Exactly. I thought we'll get more of that, because like,
how did she meet Johnny? Do we even know how she met Johnny?
I don't think so. Yeah.
We jumped in on their relationship. So, how did she meet Johnny? And what was it that made her become the best netrunner in Night City?
Yeah. Very interesting. I was like, maybe there's more. I was kept on playing. I was like, maybe there's more. There was not. So I'm hoping that there is something. Metrodomes asks, is there a particular type or preference of character you would like to act?
This is a really good question. I've never been asked this question before. Is there a particular type? I think it would be really interesting to really explore the mother's story. So what I mean by that, the mother's story, like you have the hero's adventure, you have the baddie, but the archetype of the mother, I guess I got to touch on that with Tasi, and I hoped that I would get to touch on it with Aya, but unfortunately that's just not the direction that they went in with the game. So, you know, we never got to see Aya with Remu, we never got to see the family life, but I think it could be really interesting. I guess just looking at, you know, you've kind of got Joel and he's a father in The Last of Us, but it would be really interesting to see the mother's journey. I'd be really open to that.
Yeah. I'm happy that in Last of Us TV series we got some of it, a little bit of Ellie's mom, so that was pretty nice.
Yay.
Yeah, I hope that happens. Abyss asks, would you like to reunite with Bayek or try to reconnect with Johnny?
Oh, do I have to choose? Can I say both? Am I allowed to say both? I want to say both. I'm going to say both. There you go. I just said both.
Yeah, it's. I don't think so. There's like a one answer. You know, it's like it has to be both. Makes sense. Yeah. Shugua Wizard asks, Alt was a real person, and the game suggested later on that she became the AI and is not the real Alt. Was there any conscious effort in playing the two Alts differently?
Yes, there was definitely. The main thing was about thinking of the second Alt really as being an augmented reality, you know, artificial intelligence kind of being, so not being human. So yes, there was a lot of thinking that went into it, in all honesty, which is why the voices kind of sound so different.
Yeah, that does. Yeah. And yeah, both the versions. I love both the versions. Really cool. You did a great job there. Istvan asks, what do you prefer as an actor? Either a blank or a blank state character without a fixed personality, and which leaves room for interpretation, or a character with a fixed personality traits?
Little bit of both, I would say. So I like to have fixed personality traits to kind of as good boundaries, like confines, and then you almost, I'm going like that, but what I mean is that you bounce off the confines of the walls of the character, so that's quite nice. But you know, it gets a bit tiresome if you get over directed with a character. You know, you also have to, any director that you work with has to kind of allow for your natural creativity and your natural charisma to bubble up as an actor when you're in character. Otherwise you're just being controlled, you're not really creating. So yeah, a little bit of both.
Yeah, yep, that's perfect. Well, that I would just want to say thank you so much for taking the time today to talk with me about everything. It was absolutely, it was wonderful to know all these stories, especially Amnesia Rebirth. I know you love this game so much. I was so happy.
I loved it. So few people asked me about her, so that was a real surprise when you did. So thank you.
Absolutely. I'm a fan of horror games, so I'm like, I have to at this point. Okay. That's just how I am. So yeah, I just want to say thank you so much, and I'm super excited for the next games that you are definitely working on. I cannot wait to see what those are and when it comes out. I'm pretty sure it's gonna come out much later, but I'm super excited.
In at least a year, maybe 2 years.
Yeah.